Have you ever wondered how'd they do that? When you're looking at paintings that have areas that look like this, most likely it's the magic of simply dropping in water. If you're curious about the supplies I'm using in today's demo, everything is outlined in the Paint 333 supply list that you can get at paint333.com. Now, the magic of dropping in water can vary depending on how wet your paper is. So I'm going to give 2 examples of demoing dropping in water on paper that is wet and on paper that is wet but almost dry. One of these effects is what I would like to call pigmented edges, where the pigment settles into the edges of the shape that you painted. You can see in these examples of Onyx and Leo how the pigment seemed to be pushed to the edge in a really cool thin line. If you've ever wondered how to do it, I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to have a kind of control with my examples so you can see the difference between simply not dropping in water and dropping in water. So I have my 2 examples here for my round brush, and then I want to also do my examples here for a grainer brush at the bottom. We're going to make a purple. So I'm going to come in with my opera pink on both examples, and then my ultramarine blue. Those look about the same. Let's do the same thing with a grainer brush. I'm going to go in with opera pink and make some kind of grainer brush edges. And then I'm going to come in with my ultramarine and do the same thing. Same thing with the other example where we're actually going to be dropping in water. Grainer brush, some opera pink, and some ultramarine blue. And then we're simply going to take a clean brush, load it with water, and drop it in. Literally just dropping drops of water into that shape that we painted while it's still wet. Sometimes too, when I do this, you'll have to scrub the paint a little bit just to kind of help it move. So we're doing that. We're kind of reactivating it a little bit within both shapes. And something else I do in my animal portraits is I will lift some of that pigment out as well. You don't have to do this as much, but I like to because it typically will emphasize that look of a pigmented edge. So then I'll just drop in more water, and you can see I'm helping it get all the way to those edges. You have to help it more with like a grainer brush area because those edges of the grainer brush texture just dry faster. Okay, I like how that looks. Let's see how it dries. You can see how I used a color run on Kingsley in a really unique and fun way. Let's go ahead and show you color runs with dropping in water. Color runs are basically just letting the color run down using gravity. So I've painted 2 areas with just water, and I'm going to go ahead and come in and add color and let it run into the shape that we painted with water on both of these examples. We have our control example and then our example for color runs on the other side. And I'm just going to add both of these colors because sometimes it's fun just to see how colors can mix too when you mix them on the paper. It's kind of like a side little fun way to look at things. And then basically it's obvious, you know, you would just tilt the paper and let it run. Now the fun part is you can now do something cool where you add in more color and let it run down. And you can even just add in more water and let it run down. Or you can add in more water, like I'm doing here, and let it run down. The magic happens when you kind of do both, depending on how colorful or how dark or pigmented you want that color run to be. But I think it's a really cool way to make your color runs maybe a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more interesting. It's just another way to play around with that, the ability of watercolor to do really cool things like that. And then we have our third example, which is dropping in water when the paper is almost dry. And this is just a simple way to create blooms or cauliflowers, whatever you call them. And you can see how I leaned into creating intentional blooms on Lucius, Bernie, and Sango. So I have my 2 wet areas and I'm lifting out some of the water. I don't really want a big pool of water just because that'll increase my drying time. And this is an example where we want the color to be almost dry. So I'm going to come in again with our opera pink and our ultramarine blue. We'll let them mix around and we'll wait till this is almost dry. I'm wondering if you can see that, how the center of this example is getting matte. The outside is still shiny, but the center is matte. So this is when you want to go ahead and go in and drop in your water to create those cauliflowers. Okay, let's let this dry. Look at how cool this is, how the pigment has settled into the edges, just been pushed away and created these beautiful edges on the grainer brush and on the round brush example. The color runs, obviously this is a lot more muted because we kind of washed it away with water. But like I said before, you can embrace this even further by adding color and water to your runs as it's running down the page. And you can definitely see the difference between the control and the actual demo of blooms, how just dropping in that water when it was at that almost dry stage created these beautiful blooms. I'm really curious what you're excited to paint using these techniques, so let me know in the comments. Make sure you subscribe for more watercolor goodies and like this video if it helped you. Is this my favorite all-time watercolor technique? Yes. I gave it good thought before I said that, but yes, I think this is the best technique because you can't do it with other mediums. And it allows you to harness the power of water in your watercolors. This is the technique that can be the remedy for your watercolor paintings if they are too tight. I'm a big fan of controlled, detailed areas in your paintings, but I think the key is combining that with some nice loose areas as well. This is my favorite technique, and this is what you do to achieve that. I will see you in the next video. Happy painting!